Good morning. This is Jason Selvog calling from the Stearns County Soil and Water Conservation District with your conservation report. Today I'm going to talk about CRP. I just wanted to let landowners know that we still have several CRP available for enrollment under the continuous CRP option. And a couple of the practices that we have available do have acreage allocations for them. And some of those are wetland practices. So we have practices you can enroll cropland into that have areas of hydric characteristics, so the soils may be wet. And also we have acreage available for the SAFE practice, which stands for State Acres for Wildlife Enhancement. That's a more common practice used on a little bit larger acres. We'd like to do at least 10 acres or greater. The one part of that practice is you can have a food plot on that. I know that's a very popular option with landowners, is to be able to have a food plot within the CRP planting. So those are two practices we have available. There's some wetland ones and the SAFE one. Those have acreage allocations through the state. So when those acreages are used up, we have to apply for additional acres, and we typically don't know when that's going to happen, when and if we do get acres. We always have got acres, but sometimes we have had to wait for close to a year to get those acres back up and running again. So we have them available now. If you're interested, you can stop in. And then, as always, we have several different practices available through CRP that do not have acreage allocations. Probably the most popular one of those is the CRP filter strips. We still have filter strips available. Those are basically strips of grass planted along ditches, streams, certain types of wetlands. 30 foot wide up to 120 feet wide is the pretty common width for those. We also can do farmstead shelter belts. That's 3 rows up to 8 rows of trees planted around the farmstead for wind protection and snow distribution in the farmyard. The other one that we have for trees is living snow fences, and that's tightly packed rows of trees planted and native grasses and wildflowers planted for snow distribution. That is typically used along roads, longer driveways, where you're trying to maybe remove some of the snow work that you may have to do in the winter, especially on some of the highways. We like to put those along highways if we can to remove some of that snow from accumulating on top of the road. And the last one is field windbreaks. That's a real common practice for wind erosion purposes. That is 1 row of trees up to a maximum of 3 rows of trees that you can plant on those. Those are some of the real common practices we're using with CRP. There are others. If you're interested, you can certainly stop in and talk to one of us in the office about those. The rental rates for Stearns County, the low end is $106 per acre per year, and the high end is $160 per acre per year. Some practices do have the 20% rental rate incentive, so anything typically with wetlands or filter strips, you can get another 20% above that. And that would bring those dollar amounts up to $127 at the low end and $192 per acre per year on the high end. Contracts are typically 10 years up to 15 years. You can choose anything in between if you want. It seems like landowners right now are doing the 10-year most commonly because if they have the chance to re-enroll it in 10 years, typically the rental payments are a little bit higher than they were when they first enrolled it. So consider CRP in your hard-to-farm areas, your small fields, and your poor-producing soils. You can give us a call at the office. We can take a look at some options if you're interested. You can contact myself. I'm Jason Selvog, or you can contact our Pheasants Forever Farm Bill biologist, which is Kevin Roth, in our office. Phone number is 320-251-7800, extension 3. I also was going to mention that there is a general CRP sign-up coming this winter. The general CRP is different. If you're interested in enrolling a field in that, you have to make an offer to the Farm Service Agency, and you get points assigned to your offer based on what type of practice you're going to install. Typically, native grasses and wildflowers and trees score the best, and you have to wait to see if you're accepted. Basically, you're competing with other landowners nationwide. And based on the point system, USDA will basically draw a line in the sand, and whoever gets above that point system is enrolled, and if you don't quite meet that, then you are not enrolled in CRP. That sign-up starting December 1st and will run until February 26th of 2016. So It's actually a little bit longer than typical general sign-up starts. So if you're interested in that, you can certainly call the Farm Service Agency and set up a time for you to come in between December 1st and February 26th to offer any acreage that you may be interested in doing on that practice. Another thing I was going to talk about is December 23rd is the 30th year of CRP, and it began with the signing of the Farm Bill in 1985. 30 years isn't a long time in historic record keeping, but it is a milestone to celebrate because CRP has a lot of accomplishments with it. Just a couple of those. One of the principal goals of CRP was to prevent soil erosion, which was a concern in 1985 and still a concern today. But the program has prevented more than 8 billion tons of soil from leaving farmers' fields. One of the other ones is today there's more than 170,000 miles of streams, rivers that are protected by riparian buffers, and nearly 300,000 acres of floodplain wetlands that have been created through the CRP program. And these are all, CRP is a voluntary program, so if you know a landowner that has some land in CRP, thank them. They're creating some great wildlife habitat and also protecting our soil and water, which is a good thing to do. The last thing I was going to mention is our office, the USDA Service Center, will be closed on October 12th in recognition of Columbus Day. Just wanted to remind landowners of that. I know sometimes if you're making a trip to town and you want to stop in and you go to the door and we're closed, but I just want to let you know we'll be closed on October 12th in recognition of Columbus Day. Again, this is Jason Selvog calling with the Stearns County Soil and Water Conservation District with your conservation report. Have a great day. Thank you.